Saskatchewan's minimum wage has officially increased up 35 cents to $15.35. It's a modest increase. It puts Saskatchewan, though, ahead of Alberta, which now has the lowest in the country. Brianna Solberg is the Canadian Federation of Independent Business and joins us live this morning. Brianna, first, your reaction to the move.
Yeah, well, first of all, when it comes to minimum wage increases, predictability really matters for small businesses. So we appreciate that the government's move to get to $15 an hour was gradual over the years 2022 to 2024. And now this increase to $15.35 was predictable and stable. It's based on that indexation formula. And we appreciate that move. But that doesn't mean that this increase won't have any impacts on small businesses. Small businesses will be forced to adjust to this and they'll make some changes.
Maybe dive into that impact on business a little more. What exactly does get hurt or impacted by this?
Yeah, so unfortunately, it's a tough time to be a small business right now, right? All of their costs have increased recently. Plus, they're dealing with economic uncertainty due to the trade dispute, supply chain issues, due to the postal strike. So they'll have to make tough decisions to adjust to these cost increases. Many of them say when minimum wage increases, they're forced to increase wages for all of their employees, not just those earning the minimum. So everybody gets a bump that becomes costly. And they have to raise their prices to adjust for that. So it creates a bit of an inflationary cycle. You know, they raise prices to accommodate higher wages, and that erodes the value and the purchasing power of those higher wages for employees.
You mentioned predictability. Why does that matter?
Well, just the ability to plan and to know your costs in terms of labor months out is really helpful. Businesses want to be able to predict when they're making their hiring plan, how many staff am I going to be able to bring on at the wage that I want to be able to pay? Because we know the majority of our members are already paying well above the minimum wage just to attract and retain labor in this tight labor market as it is.
You mentioned it was viewed favorably, the gradual move to $15 an hour now to $15.35 in this province?
Yes, and we have been working closely with, the Minister of Labor, and we've had conversations before about the importance of making sure that these are gradual increases, avoiding the sudden spikes that we have seen in some other provinces, and businesses are forced to adapt to that on a moment's notice, and it becomes really difficult for them.
What's the impact on the economy at large?
Well, when minimum wage increases, as I said, a lot of employers will give a bump to all of their employees. And so that means that they're likely to cut back. About a third of our members say that they will cut back on hiring younger, less skilled workers in those entry-level positions. So ultimately, it does harm younger workers and those that in entry-level positions. And so we've actually been advocating for a differential wage for that kind of sector of the population. We've been asking, similar to Ontario and Alberta, they offer a youth minimum wage, and that's something that could be considered to help businesses, be able to bring in those younger workers and help them gain the experience they need.
You know from your members just how many people are actually working on minimum wage right now? Because there's going to be a segment of the population watching this that say, well, how many does this really affect?
For our members, we know that 82% pay above the minimum wage as it is. And so I'd say, as I said, in the tight labor market we're in, they're forced to offer competitive wages and good benefits if they want to attract and retain staff, and they care about their staff.
Brianna, thank you for your insight today as Saskatchewan raises its minimum wage to $15.35 per hour. We'll do this again.
Yeah, have a good day.